He was somebody very special as a personality, as a driver as well. He could do things with the cars that nobody else could do. So Ayrton Senna was a very good friend of mine. I've been racing against this missile for 10 years, 9 years in Formula One. And he was my best friend in the world of racing, actually. I think about him every day.
I think Lotus is probably a little bit more special and a little bit more formative than people think. The story goes that in 1983, Senna met Frank Williams and he had his first taste in a Formula One car at Donington. And he actually took a car that Rosberg had driven and he was half a second a lap quicker. First time he'd ever been in that car, and stopped. And we actually have the Brazilian journalist who was there, his name is Reginaldo Leme, asking Frank, saying, can Senna have the drive for next year? Frank Williams kind of laughing, no, not a chance. Yes, I think that Peter War wanted him. I think he really wanted to go. And I think that his destiny in a Lotus was written before he ever stepped into atonement. That's what I believe. I'll never forget Murray Walker saying before the '85 season, there was the first time you saw Senna in the black and gold outfit, and he looked fantastic. And Murray said, if there's a man who can win a world championship in his first year, I think you're looking at him. If I had to go, what was out and out the fastest Senna had ever been, in a lap?
I think also Gerard Ducarouge was really at the peak of his career, peak of his engineering. So he produced a car which was a winning car. Engine was also extremely good. He had in his hand the car that he needed to win races.
So I think this was the under-resourced team. I think this car is a bit of a miracle in a way, and Senna in his hands, a hell of a weapon.
Yeah, nobody else could match Senna's performance with this car. And from the '85 car, nobody.
Thierry was saying they can wind these things up to 1,500 horses.
Close to that, yes.
Marshmallow tyres.
With qualifying tyres that would last 3/4 of a lap, no more. Then you had big bubbles on the tyre, the tyres were destroyed. But you had to drive until the end of the lap to finish it. But the lap time you make in the first 3/4 of the lap. And he was magic. We called him Magic, and he was magic, yeah.
There's actually an Autosport headline, I think it does say Magic Senna.
I remember one time the whole paddock was absolutely shocked. It was in 1986 in Jerez de la Frontera. His car was going not so competitive. He was struggling a little bit, and qualifying, he was 8/10 quicker than the second, who was, I think, Nelson Piquet. 8/10 of a second on a qualifying lap. Thanks to the car, thanks to his driving. I think you could have given him a car with only 3 wheels, he would have done the same lap time, When you put him on a qualifying run, he was just amazing. I think that year he had 8 pole positions for 16 races. That was just amazing. I mean, nobody could beat that. Nobody could beat him in qualifying, for sure.
You see that race at Jerez, Mansell came in, it's just like Monaco '92. Mansell has to come in for tyres, comes out with a much faster car. All Senna has to do is somehow keep him behind with a car with no tyres. That's one thing at Monaco, but it's a different thing on a very fast circuit like Jerez. And it was an amazing race. I was 100% sure that Senna was going to lose, that Mansell would get him out of the last corner. But what I didn't know was, because of some timing issue, the start-finish line was, I think, 150
yes,
meters.
That's right, that's
they
correct.
brought it back.
Just at the exit of the corner.
Exactly, it was right at the exit of the corner, because if they'd been in the same place, Mansell would have won the race. Mansell might have been world champion that year.
We had very good racing these days. Very, very good racing with the top 4, with Piquet, Mansell, Senna and Prost. And then we were all watching from behind and sometimes getting our nose into that.
There was one other thing actually I remembered about Senna and turbos. He had a very unique, if you looked at his telemetry, blipping coming out of a corner. And what that seemed to do was it somehow countermanded turbo lag.
Yeah.
He got a much smoother exit. He just developed this technique going beep, 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 beep. 21st of June 1986, it was Brazil-France in the World Cup. And France beat Brazil, I think it was 4-3 on penalties. Yeah. And I think they were distraught. He, of course, had Renault engineers who are all French. And he left after qualifying, put the car on pole in Detroit, put the car on pole, and he went to watch the match, and he was absolutely gutted. And you know how gentle Formula One mechanics are. I mean, straight in, you know, we won, we won. When he won the next day, he did that thing for the very first time, that iconic thing. He picked up a Brazilian flag, and it's this chassis, this car, and drives around. And that's what he was saying to Brazil: listen, you know, I can't fix the country, but I can make you happy.